Mention greatest running backs in NFL history and the same names will come to mind for everyone. Obviously Jim Brown, Walter Payton, and Emmitt Smith among others. But when we discuss the elite running backs of the elite running backs, there are a number of great names that are rarely discussed. Allow us to remind you of some of these guys who revolutionized the game. I'm Justin Fraction, and today we present the 10 most underrated NFL running backs of all time. And a big shout out and thank you to Eli Cringer Reacts. There you go. Got it. There's no spaces, man. Took me a while. You know how I do. I'm like, Eli Cringer. Scroll the teleprompter up. Scroll it down. Eli Cringe Reacts for suggesting this video with an underscore. I see you, man. And if you have any ideas for cool videos, let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and you never know, we might use one and give you a shout out. Tiki Barber. Small but heavy, the 5'10", 205-pound back spent his entire 10-year career with the New York Giants. Barber only had one 1,000-yard season in his first 5 years, then finally began to break in 2000. Barber hit 1,000 yards in his final 5 NFL seasons. On top of that, he was a slick pass catcher, consistently nabbing 50 catches a year. Too bad he retired after the 2006 season. The Giants wound up winning Super Bowl 42 the following year. Roger Craig. Joe Montana and Jerry Rice get most of the love in the San Francisco 49ers dynasty, but Roger Craig was one of the biggest power backs of his era. He won 3 Super Bowl championships with the 49ers, providing a big boost in the backfield with his tough running style. Craig had one of the best running back seasons in 1985. He had 1,050 rushing yards and 1,016 receiving yards. Oh, and 15 total touchdowns. Craig will likely never be inducted into the Hall of Fame, further showing how underrated he was. Steven Jackson. Let's just forget his disappointing reigns in Atlanta and New England. Steven Jackson was something else during his 9 seasons with the St. Louis Rams. Because the Rams are pretty awful and never did that much. Jackson was always overlooked. Well, hey, how do 1,000 rushing yards every season from 2005 to 12 sound to you? That sounds okay to us. With his 6'2", 240-pound frame, Jackson moved like a truck. A fast truck at that. He ran with so much physicality and was almost impossible to bring down. In an era highlighted by Adrian Peterson and Marshawn Lynch, Jackson deserves his fair share of love. Thing is, we rarely gave it to this underrated gem. Corey Dillon. Because so many of his great years were wasted with the Cincinnati Bengals, Corey Dillon was always underrated. He hit 1,000 rushing yards in his first 6 NFL seasons and hit 10 rushing touchdowns twice. The New England Patriots picked up Dillon in 2004 when he appeared washed up. Yet all he did was set a career high with 1,635 yards while rushing for 12 touchdowns. Dillon won Super Bowl 39 with the Patriots and retired 2 years later. By the way, he had more career rushing yards than O.J. Simpson, Herschel Walker, and Terrell Davis. Talk about underrated. Jamal Lewis. Lewis only spent 9 years in the NFL, but he made the most of it. The rock of the Baltimore Ravens offense for almost a decade, Lewis was as consistent as they came. He rushed for 1,000 yards 7 of his 9 seasons. Lewis even hit the luxurious 2,000-yard mark in 2003. He also guided the Ravens to a Super Bowl 35 championship and took home the 2003 NFL Offensive Player of the Year award. Lewis's 10,607 rushing yards are 24th all time. So how do you spell underrated? Fred Lewis. He didn't have many stars to work with in Jacksonville. He had another star running back in Maurice Jones-Drew pushing him for reps. But yet, Fred Taylor was as flashy and elusive as they came. He averaged a whopping 4.6 yards per carry in his career. Taylor also rushed for 14 touchdowns in his rookie season. He turned the Jaguars into a somewhat relevant team, getting them to the playoffs 4 times. By the way, only 16 running backs finished with more career rushing yards than Taylor. His 11,695 yards just go to show you how overlooked and underrated Taylor was during his career. Edgerrin James. James spent the bulk of his career with an explosive Indianapolis Colts offense. That is, quarterback Peyton Manning stole most of the thunder. So did star receivers Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. So many overlooked how lethal James was as a rusher. Well, did you know the 4-time Pro Bowler also led the league in rushing during the 1999 and 2000 seasons? James rushed for at least 11 touchdowns in 4 different seasons. He and Manning turned the losing Colts into an AFC powerhouse. His 12,246 yards placed James 12th all time. Truly one of the best ever. Too bad we often forgot to notice him during his excellent playing career. Warrick Dunn. There were 2 problems for Warrick Dunn. For starters, he played on a handful of frustrating Tampa Bay and Atlanta squads. For another, he was in an era where plenty of star running backs existed, so it was extremely hard for fans to pay attention to his skill set. But other than that, Dunn turned out just fine on the field. The Florida State product took home the 1997 Offensive Rookie of the Year award and was named to 4 Pro Bowls. He was also one of the game's top all-around backs, catching at least 40 different passes in different seasons. The 10,967 yards are further evidence of just how great and underrated he was. Eddie George. It seems like so many running backs that win the Heisman Trophy flop in the NFL. Eddie George was not one of them, no sir, not even close. The 4-time Pro Bowler was a backbone of the Tennessee Titans offense, one that attended Super Bowl 34 but narrowly lost to the St. Louis Rams. George only spent 9 seasons in the NFL. However, he hit 1,000 yards in 7 of them. George was really one of the better backs of his era, but for some reason didn't receive the credit that he deserved that often. Earl Campbell. People seem to forget the name a lot. Pity, because Earl Campbell was really on another level during his playing career. The Houston Oilers icon was named to 5 Pro Bowls, was a 3-time Offensive Player of the Year, and won the 1979 NFL MVP award. Campbell also led the NFL in rushing yards 3 times. Thing is, he finished with 9,407 yards. That puts him outside the top 30 of all time, but don't let the career totals trick you. Campbell was truly one of the elite. The individual awards and accomplishments are evidence. Who do you think is the most underrated NFL running back of all time? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're not subscribed yet, now's a great time to do that for more cool videos every single day. Don't forget to click that little notification bell down there if you haven't yet, if it's not on, if you want to be notified whenever there's a new video on the channel, because it's not always on. So there you go. Pay attention to that. If you like the video, then like the video. We'd really appreciate it. And last but not least, don't forget to tune into Total Pro Sports for more cool videos every single day.